Testing. Good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to thank Ms. Goh and Ms. Quek, Mrs. Leong for giving me this opportunity to share my experience of learning general paper. After I finished my first GP lesson, there are a lot of questions swimming in my mind. And the most burning question is that, what is the purpose of learning general paper? And that is a question I didn't ask my teacher. So over the 2 years, I figured it out myself, and I'm going to share that with you now. And when I met my GP teacher, Ms. Tangam, after my A-levels, I told her about my finding on what is the purpose of general paper, and she was glad. So this year, on the eve of Chinese New Year, I met one of the contributing writers of Broader Perspectives, and I asked her a question of my top concern, which is knowing that realizing general paper allows me to understand the world and and feel the urgency to cure the world problems. What exactly I can do to improve the world? And she answered by asking me a question that struck me, a question that I have never thought of in my life, which is, what do you want to change? And I was not prepared with that. So I said, poverty. And she said, oh, some more? And I said, inequality. And she said, some more. So in the end, I gave a few more. I said discrimination, pollution, and resource deprivation. And she said, okay, so which one do you want to start first? And I said, when I was struggling to rank the problems in terms of their priorities, and she asked me another question. What is the first thing that you do when you go to school every day in NUS? And I said, without thinking that, well, I hop on the shuttle bus and I start messaging my clique, and I join them in the LT. And she said, okay, so have you noticed that there are people who are sitting in isolation in LT? And how can their world be changed if, for example, if you make friends with them? And I said, and suddenly I realized that it is these little things that keep building on that helps us, that allows us to make the world a better place. And general paper, the purpose of learning general paper is essentially to understand the world problems and to realize that we have the power and the responsibility to change the world. General paper involves in 9 universal concepts: belief, perspective, choice, law, rights, freedom, responsibility, change, and consequences. And they describe all aspects of life and the world problems. Indeed, general paper is about the problems in the world, and the problems are complex and multiple. The word complex suggests the interaction, the influence between different parties, and I prefer to call these parties players. And it is multiple. The word multiple suggests a variety of issues given rise to by the countries, by the different players. So we have talked about the players. There are 6 players in the world. They are individual, corporation, government, international governmental organization, non-governmental organization, and criminal syndicate. When you write each paragraph of your GP essay, you have to describe the interactions between the 6 world players. Now we are going to go to the players in detail. I'm going to cover 3 of them. The first one, individual. As individual, we have to realize that we have the power of choice, and the power of choice is paramount. And since the early 90s, we have been exposed to increasing choices. We vote for leaders, and we vote with our wallet as consumers by influencing the corporations' decisions in producing goods, in producing more goods or not producing goods. Also, our living habits determines the sustainability of the environment. Corporations. Corporations are profit-driven in nature, and their ultimate goal is to maximize their profit. Corporations such as Monsanto, Cargill, and Moody's Investor Services Incorporated are typical monopolies that create many world problems. Monsanto's genetically modified Roundup-ready soybeans exacerbates environmental problems. Moody's is one of the biggest credit rating agencies and is partially responsible for 2008 subprime mortgage crisis by giving AAA rating for risky shares. Cargill is the biggest agribusiness corporation in the world, and it controls global food prices and undercuts farmers from developing countries. This 6 world players categorization helps you to have a clearer picture of the world issues, and when you read newspapers, you have to think in terms of these 6 world players. And besides the players in the world, let's look at the world itself. Sorry, I missed the NGO. NGO can be powerful because when they come in large numbers and join forces with technology and media. For example, in the 1999 protest against the WTO policies, gathered. Hello? Testing? Testing? Hello? Testing. The 1999 protest against the WTO policies has gathered 40,000 people and has gained media coverage and attention, and is also known as the Battle in Seattle. WikiLeaks has attempted to increase the transparency within governments and corporations. La Via Campesina has gained global awareness on farmers' plight. So let's get to know about our world. The modern world is characterized by 5 characteristics: fast, flux, free, ferocious, and fantastic. I'm going to go to them one by one. Thanks to technology, we're now living in a globalized world. It is not much faster and more convenient for us to acquire information, to communicate, to trade, and to travel. And this gives rise to a fast-paced lifestyle. However, it is also faster for disease to spread, for financial system to collapse, for environment to deteriorate, and for resource to deplete. The development of fast and convenient transports improves people's mobility. As a result, there is now a flux of people traveling and migrating to every corner of the world. Furthermore, modern technologies such as the internet, mobile phone, voice calling, video conferencing, and wireless services enable closer intercourse between companies and gives rise to successful collaboration between the companies, and in turn, there's a greater flux of goods and services throughout the world. And these collaborations including outsourcing, offshoring, supply chaining, and insourcing. For instance, highly skilled and much cheaper labor from Bangalore, India is often outsourced